Welcome back to Matt's Investing Corner. SoFi has a big moment coming up. Friday, 30th of January, at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, SoFi will report their Q4 and full year 2025 results. And in this video, I'll cover what I expect, what to watch, and the big catalyst that could shape SoFi's next move in 2026. So SoFi keeps expanding the ecosystem, especially in the last quarter of Q4. And this earnings report could reinforce that the growth story is getting stronger, even in a volatile and directionless market. And before we go deeper, let's talk about what has been going live or rolled out recently, because this is a key part of why SoFi keeps getting more relevant. SoFi started to offer level 1 options for eligible SoFi Invest members, featuring commission-free and zero contract fee trading on basic lower risk strategies. Designed for beginners, this level focuses on income generation and hedging, primarily covering covered calls, cash secured puts, and protective puts. In December, SoFi introduced crypto back onto their ecosystem, which opens new engagement and revenue opportunities as the first and only national US bank to directly offer cryptocurrency buying, selling, and holding services, fully integrated within its banking applications. SoFi Technologies launched their SoFiUSD stablecoin, a fully reserved US dollar stablecoin, marking a major step as the first US national bank to issue stablecoins on a public blockchain. Near instant settlement, designed to enable 24/7 near instant settlement for banks, fintechs, and enterprise partners. They have an infrastructure provider. SoFi positions itself as an infrastructure provider, allowing partners to white label stablecoins or integrate SoFiUSD into their own payment flows. Reserve model, backed one by cash held at the Federal Reserve, and ensuring bank-grade transparency and eliminating typical liquidity or credit risk associated with unregulated stablecoins. Public blockchain, initially launched on Ethereum, the stablecoin runs on public permissionless blockchain to facilitate the low-cost fund movement. Another item that they introduced in Q4 was sending cash in a flash with worldwide money transfers. You can send money to 30 plus different countries directly from your SoFi checking account and savings account, including Mexico, India, Brazil, and many more other countries. And they have not been sitting still and adding more AI-driven features like cash optimization tools and to keep members engaged and to improve financial decision making. So the story isn't only the quarterly numbers. It's that SoFi keeps building a broader platform that sells more products to more members, stepping on the gas pedal and using the flywheel for cross-selling. So here's why the earnings report matters so much. The direction of having lower interest rates is generally becoming more supportive. And that can be a tailwind for SoFi. When rates come down, people refinance and restructure their debt. Personal loans, student loans, and other borrowing decision shifts. And that is exactly where SoFi can win, offering a modern app-first approach that makes it easy to refinance, borrow, invest, and manage money in one place. So on earnings day, I'm watching at the 2026 guidance, the member growth and products per member, basically the cross-sell momentum. Loan demand trends, especially anything that signals even larger refinancing activity. And another item is the deposits and funding strength, fuel for scaling. Fee-based and capital-light revenue growth, the more durable long-term model. And the company has been diluting some shares in order to have more cash on the book. And I'm curious to hear if they have any comments, if they are planning any takeover or any acquisition, or what is their reasoning behind it. Now, here's what makes the setup exciting. SoFi management is usually very conservative on their guidance. And the expectation going into Q4 is that full year 2025 ends very strong, potentially comfortably above prior targets. From their last official update, SoFi guided for full year 2025 around the following. They adjusted net revenue of 3.54 billion, an adjusted EBITDA of 1.035 billion, an adjusted net income of 455 million, an adjusted EPS of 0.37, and at least 3.5 million new members added in 2025. So my bullish framing is guidance already looked positive, but Q4 could land better than guided by meaningful margin. What does that mean? If momentum held through the year end, then the numbers are very likely gonna be beating these numbers easily. So for Q4 expectations into the print, the general analyst setup is roughly 11 cents EPS and around 985 million in revenue. I wouldn't be surprised if SoFi management's team is easily gonna beat these numbers. My optimistic base case is that they will show very strong revenue growth, profitability that stays solid and continues to become a larger part of their business, and members and products remain the strong engine to keep the momentum going. And that makes the market thinking, in my opinion, this is only the growth, and this growth will scale further, and this will bring a lot of profitability. So SoFi's three business engines are lending, financial services, and the tech platform or their infrastructure. Let's name the catalyst pushing those engines into the next gear for 2026. Catalyst number one is, in my opinion, the biggest swing factor that I'm watching. And this is the potential S&P 500 inclusion in March 2026. SoFi was not included in previous decisions windows, like in October, I believe, and in December 2025. And that was a bit disappointing, but we keep our fingers crossed for the next round. But the reason this matter is simple. If SoFi ever gets added to the S&P 500, it can trigger forced buying from index funds, from pension funds, hedge funds, and benchmark strategies. And that kind of demand can impact the share price in a big way and push it into new highs. Catalyst number two is the crypto growth and the SoFi US dollar stablecoin. If adoption grows, that can lift engagement and fee-based revenue over time. If that side of the platform grows and monetization expands, it can drive revenue higher and improve the mix towards a fee-based streams. Catalyst number three is the cross-sell flywheel. SoFi is selling more products every quarter to each member over time. And every member that they get on board, they try to sell across the wheel their different range of products. Catalyst number four is a more supportive rate direction with upcoming rate reductions by the Fed. And that is being pushed by the latest administration, and this can unlock even more refinancing and borrowing activity on the SoFi infrastructure platforms. And catalyst number five is the platform keeps improving through new features and tools, which increases the stickiness for their customers. So let's talk about risks, because even if SoFi executes perfectly, the stock can still swing a lot. And you can see the last quarter, it has been moving from 32 to 24 even. And lately it was going down, and that has everything to do with market momentum. However, my main risks right now is the market sentiment. Global political and trade headlines are big risks, like tariff discussions and other high agenda policy headlines, can create uncertainty in the market. And this is something that the market doesn't like. And as an investor watching from Switzerland and from Europe, I also pay attention to the US dollar versus the euro and the Swiss franc. The FX moves can affect international returns. And sharp dollar moves can also influence overall risk appetite. We even saw dollar move sharply in the last couple of days, and those kind of swings really matter. So SoFi can deliver great numbers, and the stock can still move irrationally downwards. Especially on the short term, the market mood can swing very rapidly. The SoFi stock price in Q4 25 was very volatile, initially rising to a 52 weeks high in November before experiencing a significant decline that brought it back near its early October values. So my key insights were October rally. The stock started in Q4 at a price of 25 and 76 cents on October 1st, and it saw an upward trend through the month, closing at 29.68 on October 31. Then we had in November peak. The stock continued its upward momentum into November, reaching an all-time high at 52-week closing high of $32.21 on November 12, 2025, and the stock was up over 90% year to date at this point. Then we had the December decline. Following the mid-November peak, the price began a sharp decline. A major contributing factor was the announcement of a $1.5 billion capital raise on December the 5th, which raised concerns about potential shareholders dilution and led to a sharp single-day drop. And then we had the quarter close. SoFi ended Q4 2025 at a closing price of $26.18 on December 31. A modest increase from the quarter start price, but significantly lower than the peak, $6 lower from the 32. If SoFi continues to deliver strong growth, keeps profitability trending the right way, gets a major catalyst like the S&P 500 inclusion, potentially already in March, and the broader US market sentiment stays very positive, I see a path towards the $50 as a target case, with an upside towards $60 if multiple catalysts start stacking together. That's not a promise. It's a scenario based on execution, based on the listed catalyst that I mentioned, and the market environment that stays positive. And since this stock can move fast around earnings and headlines, I'd like to stay close to the price action and keep levels throughout the year. And that brings me to a quick practical tip. If you want to follow SoFi's price action in real time without checking your phone the whole day, I use a ticker meter on my desk. And a ticker meter is a small box that showcases the price real time, and I'll flash you a couple of screenshots on screen now. It's a simple way to not miss a second of what the stock is doing for the rest of the year. My referral link is on the screen and in the description if you would like to grab one with a 15% discount. So thank you for watching. Please support the channel by leaving a comment. Tell me what you think of what we can expect in the upcoming days with the quarterly results being shared. You help me a lot by leaving a like or even better, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the content and I wish you a healthy margins and take care and see you on the next one.